Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. This is part of a series I've been doing on learning to play bluegrass on the mandolin. I'm using the song Man of Constant Sorrow. This is part 4. In part 1 we worked on learning the melody and singing the melody while playing chords on the mandolin, both in sort of a guitar strumming style as well as in a bluegrass chop style. Part 2, we learned to take that simple melody and play it on the instrument. Part 3 was learning to embellish that melody a little bit with some slides and a few double stops. And this is part 4, where I'm going to be sort of throwing a bunch of double stops and chords into the melody to really fill out the sound. All of these are freely available over at mandolessons.com, as well as a bunch of other lessons that teach a bunch of fiddle tunes. There's a couple ways to donate over there if that's your choosing, but the lessons will always be free. So I'll jump in to an example of what we're sort of aiming for in this lesson. I'll throw in a bunch of double stops, kind of chord shapes while playing the melody, and give you the sound to get in your ears. So 1, 2, 3. Something like that, taken as a solo or a break after, maybe someone's been singing the melody. They look over at you and say, hey, take a break. We could do something like that, and I'll show you how. A couple of the ideas in there. I'm not going to do sort of specific tabs because my sort of view on improvisation in bluegrass is, while it can be helpful to, look at a bunch of tabs and see exactly what someone's doing, I think it really is more useful to have me show you a bunch of different concepts, and then sort of you can take those and mix them up, match them up as you choose, and come up with something that's your own. But I'll get into some specifics for sure and sort of show you what I'm doing here. So one of the things that I aim for when taking a solo in bluegrass, personally, I like to kind of stick close to the melody. It can be fun to, kind of go all over the place and leave the melody behind. But I kind of prefer, if someone were to walk in the middle of me taking a solo on Man of Constant Sorrow, it's a nice thing if they say, oh, nice, this is Man of Constant Sorrow, rather than, oh, this mandolin player is just kind of noodling aimlessly, and eventually someone will start singing and I'll be able to figure out what it is they're playing. So in that example I just did, you could sort of hear the melody all the way through with a few kind of blue notes and sort of departures from the melody thrown in just to vary it a little bit. So right off the bat, in that solo, I was really using most of the strings most of the time. I started out which uses some of the slides, which we learned in part 3 of this series. So the melody is pretty much staying the same. Which is very close to what we had in the previous video. But all I'm doing is I'm adding some notes below and some notes above. So I've just got this G shape. Open on the G string, open on the D, 5th fret on the A, 3rd on the E. And that's just a nice big G chord. It's particularly nice in my mind because it doesn't have a B. Here's a G chord with a B in it. But the melody, note that's being sung, I am a man, is that 5th fret. So we get this nice, it's kind of a power chord. And what I've really done is So opened it up, playing all the strings. What you want to do is give a little extra oomph or kind of power to the melody notes and the notes you want to stick out. And play around with it. It takes a little getting used to, but try to make that D note stick out. And then I'm just doing the shuffle with my right hand that whole time. So a little slower, it sounds like this. And right there, still playing most of the strings. I've kind of left the E string behind now. Sliding from the first to the second fret on the A string, while keeping 5th fret on the D string and playing the open G. So back from the beginning, you can also slide into that chord. So maybe 4-2, open, open, 4-2. Doesn't sound like a very nice chord, but if you slide real quickly up to 5 and 3, you kind of get that dissonance to consonance, nice release. So let's slide into that. 1, 2, here we go. So what I've done there, I'm adding a little bit every time. And then I'm going to constant, and I'm leaving the melody behind here, keeping this open 5-2, taking that 5th fret on the D string down to the 3rd fret. And that's and I'm, again, not playing the E string. So we have open 3-2. Again, can slide in if you like. It's a G7 shape. Again, no E string, open 3-2. And then we're going to swap those fingers around to open 2-3. There's our melody, 3rd fret on the A string. Sorrow, man of constant sorrow. And we have a C shape in our fingers. Again, still not playing the E string. Man of constant sorrow. So right from the beginning, let's do that nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Right there, I'm moving up a little kind of chromatic line with that C shape. You can do it a couple of ways with your fingers. I just went 2 and 3 with these fingers, and then 3 and 4 now with my middle and ring finger. So 2 and 3, pointer and middle. 3 and 4 with middle and ring. And then sliding that up to 4 and 5. Sorrow, I have seen trouble all my days. 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5. So let's get to there, starting from the beginning. 1, 2, here we go. And now we're gonna have I have seen trouble all my days. So kind of the second half of a trouble. There's another sort of departure from the melody. Open. Let me see here. So I'm just playing the note that kind of pops out is this first fret on the E string. It's an F. For those who are into music theory, that's the kind of the dominant 7 or the flat 7 of G, normally in a G scale. we have that F sharp, but we're making it bluesy with that F natural. And we've got an open D and A string below. So no G string, D string, A string, first fret on the E. And then is the melody. So we have, let's try that. Again. 1, 5, 3, 1, 2, 5. One more time. All right. So, and that's sort of the bulk of the melody. So let's do that idea twice through. Right from the beginning. 1, 2, here we go. And again, here we go. We can add another little sort of embellishment at the end there. So, troubles all my days. And that line is O, 3, O on the D string. And then 3, 4 open on the G string. Again. One more time. So let's add that in. 1, 2, here we go. Again. Change it up a little bit there. Ultimately, a great place to sort of mess around with some notes is on that first to second fret, on the A string, hitting that third fret on the D string, as well as the first, that's an F natural in your solos, as well as the first fret on your E string, which is also an F natural, just an octave higher. And then, again, 3 to 4 on your G string, like we were doing earlier, 3, 4 open, is the same, just an octave lower, of 1, 2, 5. So we have 1, 2, 5 on the A and D strings, and 3, 4 open all on the G string. Same sound, just down an octave. So, and then from there, the variation is really just coming from my right hand. You know, we've got a few options in our left hands of kind of key notes that'll make that sound, and then a lot of my variation is coming from my right hand, kind of keeping that shuffle going. Maybe doing some kind of continuous downstrokes. Just sort of playing around with your right hand and having fun with that. That's just as much a part of improvisation as getting all the fancy notes in your left hand. Maybe even more important is having that nice sort of rhythmic variation. It's a really powerful thing to use. So that gives you some ideas just for that, for those of you that are playing and singing this song with the turnaround, like we did in the previous lesson. Let's just add, let's see here. Just kind of making this up as I go. So you can go right back to that kind of ascending C shape. C, C sharp, D, which is 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, and then maybe hit that F again. We're just kind of repeating that last line of the melody. He has no friends to help him now. Something like that. So hopefully this gives you some ideas of ways to sort of reinvent this melody if you're called on to take a solo while people are playing this song. I hope this helps. For a bunch of other lessons, check out mandolessons.com. There's a bunch of information over there. Let me know what you think in the comments, and hope to see you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.